Let's get into Josh Allen. I've been waiting for this one because I have my little. Hey y'all, I do this thing where like I bait both of them in the chat that we have, and then sometimes they go for, sometimes they don't. This time P did not go for it. He was, I'm gonna wait until the episode today. So I was like, all right, bet. I was like, let me get my stats, all that research, so I can go ahead and cook you in this debate. You was on record saying that Josh Allen met. You was on record when the NFL players was like Josh Allen, the most overrated player in the league. You was like, see, I done told you what it is. He's not who y'all think he is. Are you ready to say that Josh Allen is one of them guys? You talk about a guy, 4 total touchdowns today, 2 rushing, 2 passing, 14-point comeback win against the Arizona Cardinals. What more does this guy need to do to show you he's one of them, P?
It's crazy to say this, but as a Cowboys fan, I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyway. We're talking about the Cardinals, dog. All right.
Thank you.
We're talking about the Cardinals.
We're talking. So
hey, nice.
This is what I'm gonna say about this. I still stand where I stand at Josh Allen's mid. Like, it took a heroic comeback today versus the Arizona Cardinals, who arguably may be the second worst team in the NFL this season, behind the Carolina Panthers.
The Cardinals?
Yeah, the Cardinals may be the second worst team in the NFL this season behind the Carolina Panthers.
Hell
like them, Washington, and Carolina, like, and maybe the Giants. Like, those 4 teams are in the same boat. Like, we don't expect anything from those 4 teams. Are we, like, we all agree there? What do you expect, Miles, from the Arizona Cardinals? Are they a playoff team?
They gonna fight.
If the Cowboys are a playoff team, the Cardinals are not a playoff team, dog.
No, I'm not going to like. I mean, they gonna fight.
Are they
They're in the same boys as the Seahawks. They're on the same tier as the Seahawks to me. They're on the same tier. They in the, but they in the toughest division of football, in my opinion. So you feel me? Like, they probably won't make the playoffs, but
Miles, the Seahawks,
they're in the same tier as the Seahawks.
The Seahawks almost made the playoffs last year. The Cardinals were nowhere near making the playoffs last year.
What they do in that final stretch, they also did not have Kyler Murray for a large portion of that season. And they get him, and they got Marvin Harrison, who did not show up today. I don't know what happened, but
my point exactly. So they almost lost to the Arizona Cardinals with no Marvin Harrison showing up, who is what we expected to have a crazy day. Kyler Murray was back, so that made a little difference. But I mean, Josh Allen, like, I'm not sold. It was great to see that today, like, versus the Arizona Cardinals. But does he do that versus a better defense? Does he make that?
Yes, he does this all the time. He's just all the, like, this ain't just like, oh, he just picking on a bottom feeder team. He has this all the time. I can list his accolades.
Do you think? Are you counting on Keon Coleman?
Please list the accolades. I want to know what he has. What has he done?
You do realize he has the second most TDs for a player in his first 7 seasons. Mahomes number 1 at 231, Josh Allen at 225. Okay. He's the only player in NFL history to have 40 total touchdowns in 4 consecutive years.
Okay.
He has 20 games with 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. That's tied for second most all time with Aaron Rodgers. Only one that got more than him is Cam Newton. That boy is a dog. Okay. Last John, he is 4th. This was his 4th. I'm sorry. This was his 4th game ever with 2 rushing, 2 passing TDs. Tied for Steve Young for most all time. He's been doing this, and he's better than your man Lamar Jackson in the playoffs too. Because Lamar go ahead and fold.
I'm gonna keep it tall with you. You just listed to me a bunch of empty stats that are overwritten.
And how are they empty stats?
Hold on. Just let me get to the rest of it. That are overwritten by a bunch of turnovers that lose him a lot of games. And if you're going to compare Lamar, to James Harden, you gotta compare it. 2 sides of the same token, my boy. Whoa, that's crazy. That's crazy. No, because that's crazy because what did we say about James Harden for the longest time? He puts up crazy numbers, 60-point trip dubs, all this whatever. Broke a lot of records. Broke a lot of scoring records. A lot of scoring records that get overridden by turnovers, bad play, and bad shooting when he gets to the playoffs. Hey, Josh Allen Josh Allen has a lot of great stats that are overridden by a lot of turnovers and a lot of losses and a lot of games that are his fault. You can blame that last one on Stephon if you want to, but there are a lot more games than not that when the Bills lose, like Josh Allen, I'll give it to you, he scores a lot of points, but he's either going to score or he's going to turn the ball over.
I just
luckily he turned it around today, but he had a strip sack early in the game, and luckily he turned it around. He was playing against the Arizona Cardinals, dog. Like I'm just not.
My thing to this point is because you're saying that stuff to me. Like you named all those stats; those are great. Every quarterback has a version of those stats, but
no, they do not. No, they do not.
Let me clarify. Every top quarterback has their own version of those stats and with their grading. My thing is to you, what has Josh Allen done with those stats? Has he won an MVP? No. Has he won an Offensive Player of the Year? No. Has he been to a Super Bowl? No. Has he won an AFC Championship? No. So you're saying all these things, and you bring up Lamar. Lamar has 2 MVPs. Lamar has lost at the same spot to the same guy that Josh Allen has. So what is your point? Lamar has accomplished more as a player than Josh Allen has.
Lamar is the definition of what James Harden is. It's not Josh Allen, because Lamar Jackson, he got the 2 MVPs.
No,
he's all-time great in the regular season. He's all-time great in the regular season. But then come the postseason time, he literally drops in every statistical category.
Josh Allen is
Josh Allen, hold up. Josh, did you know that in the playoffs, Josh Allen?
That's what he is.
Hold up. You know, Josh Allen in the playoffs has 21 touchdowns to 4 interceptions in the playoffs, all time in his career. But he's James Harden. But he's James Harden.
I didn't say he was James Harden.
He's James Harden. That's what Kobe said. That's what Kobe said.
I was just making the comparison. I was just making the comparison that there's a lot of empty stats there, because what has it translated to? James Harden has broken a lot of records and has a lot of great stats, but what does it translate to?
Josh Allen is a subpar.
When he has faced Mahomes, talk about in 2021, Josh Allen had 9 touchdowns, all in the playoffs, 0 interceptions. He faced Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game, had a 92 QBR. Cuz had 4 total touchdowns. What do you want the guy to do? 400 yards of offense. Hey. Ultimately, like, what you want Cuz to do, and he gave his defense 13 seconds to defend. You can't hold Josh Allen and be like he overrated because he can't beat Patrick Mahomes.
Listen,
like that's almost everybody. That's everybody.
I'm saying that he's overrated, and I ain't the one playing against him. His own counterparts are saying that he's overrated. 98% of the league is literally saying, why do y'all overrate this guy this much? Josh Allen is a subpar Luka Doncic. He's a subpar Luka Doncic. That's literally the perfect example to give, bro. He is subpar Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic had a great season.
This is just rage bait.
Great. He's had a great season, great stats.
So when I clip this, don't get mad. He played a great game. They're gonna cook you.
He played a great game in the final. He played a couple great games in the finals. What did Tatum do? He went and got the job done. Tatum didn't play his best. He went and got the job done. You know what I mean? He lost. Josh Allen played good versus Patty Mahomes. Congratulations. You lost, bro. You ain't won nothing. Luka ain't won nothing. Josh ain't won nothing. Bunch of great stats, breaking a bunch of records. No MVPs to show. No Offensive Player of the Years to show. No scoring titles to show. No, what is we doing, bro? That's all I'm saying. He's mid.
Great fantasy player, though.
He's great fantasy player. Great fantasy. He's a great.
I'll probably take him. I'd take him like top 3 in fantasy, really.
I wouldn't, but great fantasy guy. Maybe a great Madden guy. But
be the great Madden guy.
I just feel like these players. I ain't responding to the mid stuff. You just trying to get me riled up. And my dad is like asleep downstairs. I'm not even trying to scream. Like, I'm trying to chill. So I'm not even gonna respond to that. But like, dang, what you talking about?
Him every Sunday, and they're saying the dude's overrated, bro. They don't fear Josh Allen, bro.
You're this cap. That's such cap.
That's what
NFL
they
players
said.
don't fear Josh Allen. That's such cap.
That's what they said. There's more quarterbacks in the league that they fear more than Josh Allen.
A lot of people say stuff that they don't believe, but they try and just look good for the people. They don't believe that, bro. Because the Cardinals, they fear
it's anonymous. It's anonymous. Who they got to look for?
Who I was saying it. It wasn't like they was in a group and saying, "Oh, we all vote for Josh." No, it was clear cut. He is the most overrated.
They just hating, bro. That's the trend. Because, bro,
come on, bro, stop, bro. He mid and it's okay,
bro. I've been for a long time.
Mid guy. He's the best mid guy. Like he's the best mid guy. Like he's mid, and that's cool, bro.
All I'm saying, I stopped taking what players say to heart when Rasheed Wallace said Anthony Edwards, I think was Aaron McKee or something like that. I mean, like some players, they be chatting, bro. Like some players do be saying
it's all good. It's all good, but that is you trying to say I'm not going to listen to a whole league of players because Rasheed Wallace said whatever the hell Rasheed Wallace said. Don't nobody care what Rasheed Wallace said. A general consensus came out from the league. And the general consensus was that Josh Allen is mid. Like, this wasn't on no podcast. This wasn't on no podcast. This is what I'm saying though. This wasn't on no podcast. This wasn't on no Instagram. This wasn't on no Twitter. This wasn't on no platforms. They sent in a piece of paper, dropped it in the hat, and said Josh Allen is mid. Like, what you want them to do? And they probably went on NFL Network when they was asking who was the top players in the league or whatever. When they had to do the jump, they was like, "Hey, what do you think about Josh Allen?" And when they rounded up all of the votes, the general consensus was that bruh's mid. Like, and it's anonymous. What do they have to hate for?
I feel like a big part of it is that people like, and this is why I get on the Lamar fans. People like Lamar. They have an affinity for Lamar, and they like, I'm not going to tell the truth because I like Cuz a lot. But with Josh Allen, I don't have no affinity towards him. You know, feel me? He don't look like me. Keep it a stack. He don't look like me. I don't got no affinity towards him. That's what I feel like they thinking. Because overrated is what Lamar Jackson do, but
they could have picked Herbert. They could have picked a whole bunch of guys, bro. There was a whole bunch. They could have picked Trevor Lawrence. They could have picked a whole bunch of guys that don't look like them.
Overrated guy.
They could have picked a whole bunch of guys that don't look like them. That's a bad take, bro. That's a bad take.
That's an overrated guy. That's just the
trend. So is Josh Allen. And so is Josh Allen. Overrated. Very. 98% of the people that play against him Sunday in, Sunday out, Monday in, Monday out, Thursday in, Thursday out, said bruh's overrated. He's mid, and that's okay. He's the best
person that might have had a little
best of the mid.
Only person that might have had a little vendetta when they voted that was Stephon Diggs. Only one. Because he probably really don't like bruh. Other than that, everybody else was like, nah, bruh's actually mid. Come on, bro.
They don't fear, bro. If you did a consensus of who do you fear more, Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, the league is going to say Lamar Jackson.
That's not true, bro.
That is true.
I know that for a fact.
You can ask the public this. You can ask the public this. Who would you fear more playing against, Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen? And I guarantee you, Lamar Jackson is going to be the answer.
Lamar in the regular season, maybe not in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs.
They both lose in the playoffs.
You know what I'm really hating? Well, you know what I'm really starting to hate about you, dog? Is somebody has one good moment and you live in it. Like we keep having. Hold on. I'm about to say. Just hear me out. We've been living off this Jalen Hurts run to the Super Bowl that didn't actually have nothing to do with Jalen Hurts for the longest time. We gotta let that go. Josh Allen, we've been living off this one game that he had against Patty Mahomes for the longest time. And I get it. It wasn't his fault that they lost per se. But, dog, like, let it go. It happened. They lost. What have these players done since then? And since then, they keep losing. Jalen Hurts hasn't gotten back to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts hasn't gotten back to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow hasn't gotten back to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen still hasn't won. Like, these players have great moments, and like they're still losers just like everybody else, and like you put them on these pedestals, but it's like, dog, they're still losers. Whether they lose in the AFC Championship or they lose in the first round like Dak Prescott, they're still losers.
Going by that logic, that means Deshaun Watson and Josh Allen the same person because they all lost, right? They won the Super Bowl. So yeah, Desmond Ritter is the same as Lamar Jackson.
I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, you have to when you make. This is my last one. I'm gonna let you have it. When you make these arguments, I need you to start having like recent ones. You be like, when we talk about Jalen Hurts, you be like, dog, why is he better than Dak Prescott? Oh, he's been to a Super Bowl. He's a better leader. Dog, he didn't have nothing to do with that Super Bowl run. Like that defense got y'all to a Super Bowl because they knocked out 3 starting quarterbacks of a 49ers team that probably would have blasted y'all in the NFC Championship had their quarterbacks not been hurt. That didn't have nothing. And then Jalen Hurts played good in the Super Bowl game. But you've been living on this loss for the longest time. Like, he hasn't been back. The team had a tremendous meltdown. Like, you keep living on this Jalen Hurts thing. Josh Allen, they lost. They lost to Patrick Mahomes. You keep living on it though. But he's just like, he's still a loser, dog. Like, he still loses. He still.
So is Lamar a loser? Is Lamar a loser? Is Dak Prescott a loser?
They're still losers. They haven't been nowhere.
I say yes.
But if there was to be a upper echelon of them, Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs.
But what
Josh
is he done?
Dak Prescott don't have that. Jalen Hurts don't have that.
This is my thing. You brought up the Deshaun Watson and Josh Allen before COVID. Deshaun Watson and Josh Allen was the same thing. An incredible offensive talent that puts up great numbers that has not won anything. They hasn't won anything. The reason that the conversation starts to become different with Lamar is because he has won 2 MVPs. That's the only thing that separates them. That's the difference maker right there. But he has lost, just like Josh Allen, to the same guy in the playoffs. But because you have one good game, it does not make you this.
Okay. He had 24 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That's not just one good game. That's
Miles. When did those interceptions happen, Miles? When the game was on the line. What? The game was on the line. He threw those picks in crunch time when the game was on the line. It does.
Name one. Can you name one? Because you just chatting. Name one time that in the playoffs he threw in a pick and it cost him the game. You can't name one because it didn't happen. Speak some facts, bro. Because that just something did not happen. It sounds good. 24 touchdowns to 4 picks. No other quarterback.
And what does he have to show for it?
So why are they losing in the playoffs?
What does he have to show for it?
Why is Josh Allen losing in the playoffs?
He's up against the potential GOAT and Patrick Mahomes. He's the Jordan. We in the Jordan era. We in the Mahomes era.
You said 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Yes.
What does he have to show for it? A great game.
That's against Patrick Mahomes.
He has a couple great games to show for it. That's it.
Again, I'm not going to knock the guy for losing to Patrick Mahomes. You can't say a guy is been
Lamar for losing to Patrick Mahomes. You knock Lamar for losing to Patrick Mahomes.
He has played significantly worse.
But they lost. If you play good and you lose, it don't matter.
Yes, it. What?
If you play good and you lose, it doesn't matter, Miles. If you got 30 and we lose, your 30 don't matter. If you got 4 touchdowns and we lose, your 4 touchdowns don't matter. We didn't win the game.
If you're a player,
unless you're that selfish type of player, it doesn't matter. Every player goes into the win. The win is what matters. We didn't get the job done today. Since when did stats start getting over wins?
That doesn't even, for instance, when LeBron James lost to the Mavericks, that wasn't the same as when he lost to the Warriors in 2018. He played significantly better. You're not going to say, "Oh, that's the same thing," just because they lost. You're going to say, "Yeah, he lost, but shoot, he plays really, really well even in that loss." You got to always put stuff in there. You can't just put stuff at face value.
But let me tell you what the difference is. LeBron James in 2018, when he lost to the Warriors, played probably some of the best basketball we've ever seen played ever. And it didn't matter because he lost. But you want to know what we're not doing? Nobody's like living in the fact that LeBron James played great playoff basketball in 2018 and he just lost to a great team. Nobody's living in that. We call
nobody's living in that. I see what I'm saying. 2018.
My point is, no. This is the best. This is the best LeBron that was the best LeBron we had ever seen. Sure, he just lost to a great team, but we're not living in LeBron's the GOAT because he lost to them in 2018. And it was the best player, and it was the best basketball player. It was the best basketball we'd ever seen played. No, LeBron has made cases over and over again, and he's won championships to make us say to make us prove, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not just living in his loss, like, well, that was a great loss, so he's still a great player. Like, nah, we're not living in that.
Man, bro, like he had a great
you living in these big losses and saying like, well, they played great, so they played great, but they lost in a big time game. So like they're still like better than everybody else because they played great, even though they lost.
But the thing is, if everybody loses to one guy, then if you want to rate the players who are better, like you got Patrick Mahomes, who top dog. We all know Patrick Mahomes top dog. If nobody else can beat him, then you're gonna have to rate certain people by how they play when they're against him, how they play in the playoffs, even though they don't win, how they play.
You rate them by what they've gotten done. The reason why Patrick Mahomes is 1 and Burrow and Lamar are 2A and 2B is because Burrow beat Patrick Mahomes to get to a Super Bowl, and Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs, both of which Josh Allen has yet to do. Matter of fact, you asked about a moment where Josh Allen threw a pick in a time in a game to where he could have not done that. He did it versus Joe Burrow at home in Buffalo in the playoffs when they could have went down and scored and made the game interesting. Instead, he throws an interception in crunch time in the fourth quarter. So that's the difference when we separating these guys. They're all putting up great numbers in their own way and what they do. One has beat Patrick. The other has 2 MVPs. Josh Allen has done none of that. And that's the difference.
I guess we just have different way of overrating guys. Because if a guy has more accolades, but he's statistically worse in the postseason, that would make him, in my eyes, more overrated than the guy who doesn't have the accolades but plays better in the postseason.